Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Primetime Carolina. I'm your host, Tanner Blue, along with my co-host, Dave LaFave. And you know what? Coming to you live, the Panthers have lost 3 games in a row, and it's not good.
Let's go. Let's go.
Keep
3
pounding,
losses
baby.
in a row, baby. Let's go.
Some people ask, why do we take, a couple days to, do the review of the game on Sunday? That's because if we did the show immediately after, we would say some not good things and probably some things in the heat of the moment that we would regret. So that's why we take a couple days to, reflect and give ourselves the opportunity to really soak in what are the Panthers' 3-3 record right now, being at 500. Dave, what do you think, man? What's going on?
Man, where do you begin here? I don't know. I mean, there's so many different things we could talk about. As much as things change, they stay the same. We're still the Panthers. We still find a way to lose. Even after we pull off a miracle comeback that I'm sitting there watching and I'm like, there is no way this is happening. I am watching it with my own 2 eyes and it can't be real. And then
we were texting live during the comeback, and we both had the same mindset, and I agree with you. And then a few minutes later, we were let down.
I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm not even reacting to the miracle I'm witnessing. And my wife is like, "What is wrong with you? Are you okay? Why are you not freaking out right now?" And I'm just like, I'm numb to it. I know what's about to happen. And no matter how far they put off the big disappointment that's going to come at the end of this game, it's going to happen. So I'm not going to bother getting excited over this miracle comeback that I'm watching, because I know in the end, they're still going to find a way to lose. And damn it, they sure did.
I was out of town this weekend, so I listened to most of the game on the radio. I came home with probably about 6-7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And by that point, that's whenever they had scored. We were down by like 10 or 13, I can't remember, by double digits. I had pretty much thrown in the towel, to be quite honest with you. I was like, I just don't see us coming back this game. So I came home and I just turned on the TV and I was like, I'm just going to watch the ending of it, but we're probably going to lose. And then that's when everything started to happen. We see this miracle drive there at the end of the game. Sam Darnold looking like Tom Brady for a second, just driving down the field on 4th and forever, throws it to Ian Thomas out of all people, gets the ball downfield. Robbie Anderson finally catches the ball. It's a touchdown. Panthers are back in it. They go to overtime, and you text me, and I was just like you. I wasn't reacting. I was just like, man, I've seen this movie a couple times, and I'm pretty sure I know what this ending is going to be. But I did let my emotions get a little bit ahead of me, and then once we got the ball on defense, or they had the ball, we were on defense, I was like, we're going to get a stop. And then we didn't get a stop, and they scored.
Dude, I'm watching this game, and I'm like, after they score their touchdown, I'm like, dude, if they pull this off, this might be their most incredible win ever. Like, it's right up there with, like, all the most improbable wins they ever pulled off. And they do have some in their history for sure that are amazing. So, we do complain a lot about them being the Panthers, but they have their moments. They do just enough amazing things where you always feel like there's a chance. And in this one, it was like, there's no way we're going to do this. Then we went down there and did it. And then that's where the biggest disappointment is in this, Tanner. The one part of our team we're supposed to be able to count on is the defense. And honestly, not only on that drive, but in this whole game, they really let us down. And I know there's injuries. I know there's big injuries to key players. I know they were on the field for a lot of the game. I think I read that the Vikings had, 84 plays. The Vikings ran 84 plays. So I'm sure the defense was gassed, and yes, the offense was disappointing for basically the entire game. But at the end of the day, when you've got when your offense pulls off a miracle like that, and all they need is a stop for one more crack at it to pull out the victory, and then your defense that's supposed to be elite can't get that stop, can't find a way to get that stop. That was the most back-breaking thing of this whole game for me.
I agree with you 10,000%, and I guess that's what we'll use to kick off the show is talking about the defense. You do all the tweeting for our account that we have, and I was going over some of the tweets that you put out about people saying the defense was elite. Let me tell you something right now. This defense is not elite, and it pains me to say that because the Panthers spent all of their previous draft class, not this one but the one before, all on defensive players. Now, listen, I get it. It's the NFL. Teams are going to score. Things are going to happen. But the Panthers, when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter how many points you give up, what the score is. At the end of the game, when your defense, that is supposed to be the top priority on your team, the number one unit, when they need a stop, they will get a stop. There is no doubt about that. I don't care what team you're playing for. If your defense is all that, in the best part of your team, in an elite defense, when you need to stop, you get a stop. They didn't get a stop. They gave up over 600 yards. Yeah. 600 yards total offense. That is garbage. I understand that they were put in bad positions because of field position, because of turnovers by the offense. I get that. But when push comes to shove, man, it's overtime. You've played as bad as you can play. You still got to – all you got to do is get off the field, give the ball to your offense. They couldn't do it. And for that, I can't get behind that. I can't get behind that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And it pains me. Before the season started, Tanner, I was hyping up this defense more than anybody. So those first 3 games, I felt like such a genius. Now I'm watching this defense, and I'm like, they're not that good. And I understand they've got players coming back who are big-time players, 100%. I understand that. We'll see if J.C. Horn comes back. Stephon Gilmore was a piece that was added that's going to make a big difference, hopefully. C.J. Henderson was injured in this game. Shaq Thompson's out. I know there's a number of guys who are out, but at the same time, if you are one of the best defenses in the league, it's the next man up. Someone's got to step up and fill that void. And honestly, it's not even the guys who were missing that were – it was the starters. It was the big time. Brian Burns hasn't had a sack in 2 games. What happened to Brian Burns? All we talked about for the last 6 months is how Brian Burns was going to emerge as a big-time pass rusher, as an elite pass rusher in the NFL. And we saw it for a couple weeks. But he's not showing up. In this game, on that final drive – at the end of regulation, he had a chance for a sack. He let Kirk Cousins squirm right out of his arms. He had a chance. He really had a chance to, if he got that strip sack, which I know that's what he was going for. He does that all the time. He goes for the strip sack and then misses the sack. I know that's what he was going for. He had a chance. He had the opportunity to give us the ball right there at whatever it was, the 45-yard line. We could have actually stolen the game right at the end, which would have been crazy. And, I appreciate the fact that he was trying to force that turnover and make that happen. But at the same time, if you're going to try to make a big play happen, you can't let the play that's in front of you just go by. And that's what he's been doing time and time again. We saw it again in this game. We're lucky they didn't end the game there before overtime. I guess it would have just put us out of our misery quicker because we didn't even see the ball in overtime again because of the defense. So, it's just this team they're hard to watch right now, man. And what's supposed to be their strength is not a strength.
It certainly has been frustrating to watch. I'm not really sure what I feel about this team right now because, as a fan and as someone who has been a fan of the team as long as I can remember, has watched every game as long as I can remember. It sucks to see. Okay, we started out 3-0 against some bad teams. That's fine. And you know what? If we didn't make the playoffs this year, whatever. But to just lose the way they've lost the past 3 games is what was really concerning. It's not the fact that they lost. It's the way they have lost. It brings back so many bad memories and feelings of the Ron Rivera era where the Panthers are just not playing. They're just not a cohesive, sound team. good, cohesive, elite teams. Not saying the Panthers are there yet. They're not. But good teams, the really good teams, they figure out how to win these types of games, and they figure out how to stick it through and figure out a way to win. They don't make the mistakes the Panthers are making.
Yeah.
They don't.
Silly mistakes everywhere.
Just silly things. And I got to be honest with you, man. I love Matt Rule, but the coaching staff the past 3 weeks, they have been god awful. All what we're seeing right now could be fixed with some competent coaching. And we're not getting that right now. We're not getting that on offense. We're not getting it on defense. We're not getting it on special teams. We're not getting it anywhere. Coaching has been terrible these past couple weeks, and that's why the Panthers are 3-3.
Yeah, coaching. I agree. We're absolutely getting outcoached, and it's probably in every phase of the game. For me, the biggest poor coaching job I've seen has been on offense, and it's not. Here's why, and I said this. I think I said this last week and maybe the week before, and I think Matt Rule said it in his press conference. The Panthers aren't committed to running the football. They're getting behind the sticks. They're getting into 2nd and 12, 3rd and 10, and when your interior offensive line is as bad as the Panthers are, or really the whole offensive line is as bad as the Panthers is, you put yourself in that situation time and time again, even if you get lucky a few times or you make some good plays or they do hold their blocks and Sam Darnold's able to make a play and you convert those situations, you're not going to do it every time. You have to run the football. It is elementary, dude, and it is driving me insane. You look at these stats. Where is it? 5.1 yards per rush. 5.1 yards per rush, but yet you're dropping back 41 times with Sam Darnold at quarterback. Dog, like, that is so silly. And I'm watching the game. I mean, dude, we ran the ball, I think, I don't remember, it was 2 or 3 plays in a row, but we grinded out and we got a first down. I said, that's it. That's what you're supposed to do every time. They immediately threw the ball 3 times in a row on the next set of downs and then had to get rid of the ball. And it's just, I can't stand to watch it because it's like you are making the defense's job way too easy. You are coaching right into what the defense wants you to do, and that's drop back on every play with Sam Darnold in a suspect offensive line. You have to run the ball. I don't care if Christian McCaffrey's out. You have to run the ball at least some of the time. You're not throwing 41 times with Sam Darnold and winning the game regularly.
And you know what's funny about, you mentioned running the ball, which is 100% accurate, is that, I mean, I know you're not the biggest Chuba Hubbard fan yet, but he was doing a pretty solid job. It's not like he was just running into the offensive line and falling down. I mean, the guy was 4 or 5 yards a carry. I mean, he was doing a fine job. Why did we get away from that? I understand the offensive line isn't all that great, but the guy's, he's moving the ball. I mean, he took, 16 carries for 61 yards. I mean, if he'd had another 10 carries on top of that, he'd had another 100-yard game.
Yep, for the second game in a row. And, like you said, I haven't been the biggest on Chuba Hubbard because I think he's more of a backup running back than a starting running back, and that's kind of the role he's been thrust into. But at the same time, he's been just fine. He's been good enough that, he's – whoever's in the game, you need to run the ball. It's not even about getting yards, really. It's about philosophical. I mean, I don't know. It's just, what are you doing?
Well, it's about establishing an identity.
Right, and that they just don't have any kind of identity right now.
Yeah, and like I understand McCaffrey's out, so what? There's other guys that can run the ball. We can still run the ball. And then whoever the backup is, Royce Freeman, we can run the ball. I mean, it's about establishing that identity because, like you said, whenever the Panthers, like we know we're not going to run the ball, they're just going to load the box. Our offensive line's garbage. They don't even have to load the box. We just know that we're going to pass the ball. They know when we're going to pass the ball, and they're going to be all over our guys, all over Sam Darnold, all over the receivers. They're not going to be able to get open, which we will get into in 1 second. But it's just it's coaching, man. You got to be able to see that. And Joe Brady right now, I'll be honest, man. Ever since he came in, I've always had not the best feeling about him. We discussed this before. He's on he's on very thin ice right now. Very thin ice.
It's about controlling the ball. It's about taking the other team's offense off the field so they don't have whatever it was, 84 plays or whatever we just said. And you look over here at time of possession, 37 minutes to 26 minutes. That's them having a balanced attack, and we did not. That's them
Correct.
getting first downs, which we weren't doing.
Correct. And I want to bring it up again, and I want to get your opinions on Joe Brady. The play calling is just it's been bad, and just the sequence in the flow of things has been bad. And I got to tell you right now, if the Panthers keep going on how they're going, let's say they win, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 games this year, they miss the playoffs or whatever. I don't see in a realistic reality, and the offense keeps going how it's going, that you could bring this guy back. He's been disappointing. He's been disappointing.
I think he has, but I also think for whatever reason, he's regarded as just this young, upcoming, offensive mind that's going to come in and transform a team. So I think there's enough people interested in him. I don't think he'll be back regardless. I think someone's going to make him a head coach, probably a college team rather than an NFL team. I don't see why anyone would want to do that. It goes back to our conversation last week. The LSU offense that he coached in 2019 is just going to precede him everywhere. Every room he walks in, people are going to think of that team. They're not going to think about what he did in Carolina with Sam Darnold and Teddy Bridgewater.
Correct. I agree. And it's been really infuriating. And then, we've talked about the defense. We've touched on the offense a little bit. Receivers, I think we had 10 drop balls. A lot of people would get mad at the receivers. Listen, I get it. They dropped 10 balls. I think it's just one of those things where you have one or two. It just one of those games where you just cannot catch the ball. It was like the flu or the cold. Everyone caught the same thing, and they just could not catch the ball for whatever reason. I don't know.
I think, especially in Robbie Anderson's case, that's true. I think there was just a bad energy there, and I think, he had a little bit of a sideline outburst last week, so I think he kind of carried that over into this week. I feel like that probably put pressure on him to feel like he has to make plays. I think it put pressure on the whole offense to feel like he needs to get the ball and make plays so they could put that behind him. I think Joe Brady was trying to dial up plays for him more than he should have. I think Sam Darnold was trying to find him with the ball more than he should have. And I think it was a combination of all three of those things. I think Robbie Anderson felt the pressure every time the ball came his way. He felt like he had to make a big play and just forgot the basics. Just forgot that you got to catch the ball first before you do anything else. And I think once it started hitting him, like you said, it started spreading like the flu, and then the whole team started, to feel that bad energy.
Yeah, everybody was catching it, and I say that loosely because they weren't catching the ball. They were dropping it.
No pun intended.
We are almost at we're 6 games into the season. I want to ask you some tough questions here about the Panthers. We're at a tipping point. This was a must-win game. The Panthers lost this game. So I want to ask you some gut check questions here. We're almost at not quite the midway point of the season, but I think we are what we are at this point. Question number 1 is Sam Darnold the guy or no?
I think it depends on what your other options are. You know what I mean?
Well, let's say that, he is wishy-washy throughout this season. There's really no one you can go after in free agency other than Deshaun Watson, but we don't know how that situation is going to fold out because we know that's what the Panthers originally wanted to do was trade for him.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't happen because of, his off-the-field stuff. Let's say he was wishy-washy, Deshaun Watson thing doesn't happen. You're looking towards the draft. I'm just curious, what's your mindset right now with Darnold? Are you confident with this is our guy, we got to stick with him? Or are you just kind of like, sorry, man?
I guess it just depends on who's available and how everything unfolds. The draft's so weird. I mean, this time, or excuse me, in the draft, back in April, we were looking at this year's draft and talking about Spencer Rattler being one of the top quarterbacks, and now he's getting booed off the field for his unbeaten team. So it's so hard to say what things will be like in April. I really like Malik Willis, but I don't know, how things will shake out with him, and I haven't done enough homework on him to have a strong opinion on whether or not he'll be a great NFL quarterback. So it just depends on where we're at,
Yeah.
And I think it's important to keep some perspective here, being that, 3 weeks ago we would have said there's no way we were 3-3. So who's to say 5 weeks from now we won't look at a record and be like, oh my God, how do we get here? We're winning again. The NFL is just so crazy from week to week. I think it's important to keep some perspective on that.
I agree with you 10,000%. I love the idea of, the whole perspective thing, because I think it, really, you go on, I try to stay off, websites and things like that sometimes, because they just get you so fired up in the moment where all of a sudden you go from having a very good day to all of a sudden the freaking sky is falling, the house is burning down, the Panthers need to fire everyone and they need to trade everyone and start over. You got to pump the brakes some. Listen, this is what the second year of a 3 to 4 year rebuild that they were talking about. I think that, I don't think it really takes that long to rebuild. I think after 1 or 2 years, if you hit it right, you're back in the mix. But to me, it all starts at the quarterback position. And, I like the things I've seen from Darnold, and I've seen some things I don't like. So it's hard for me to say 100% what I feel, but I feel like at the end of the day, at the end of the season, no matter what happens, either the Panthers have a winning record or they continue to suck and they lose, whatever. My only thing is that if they don't feel like Darnold is that guy that can win the game at the last second, which we saw at the end of this game, if we can see that more, if they don't feel like he's that guy, I feel like they cannot afford to waste time. They will have to make a decision whether they know or not.
There's just so much time between now and the off season. Like you don't know where we'll be drafting. You don't know who's going to be a free agent, really. You don't know how this Deshaun Watson thing is going to work out. If you have a chance to, if the Deshaun Watson thing works out and it was all, he was innocent or whatever, and then you have a chance to go get a superstar franchise quarterback, we were talking about it before the draft this year. If you have a chance to go get a guy like that, you do it. And then all the craziness happened, and we kind of threw him out the window. So if that all shakes out and you have a chance to go get Deshaun Watson, you go get Deshaun Watson. But if you're picking, in the middle of the first round and there's not really one who falls to you, you can't really find someone else you want to give the team to, the offense to. Sam Darnold's shown that he's a sufficient quarterback, but you can't put too much on his plate. And throwing the ball 41 times is putting too much on his plate. Spreading, 4 wide receivers, 90% of the game is putting too much on his plate. Line up, run the ball, throw some play action passes where he has simple reads, and go and grind it out. If your defense is that good, then grind it out. But I think we're starting to find out the defense isn't that good. And if Joe Brady feels like he has to throw the ball 40 times, he must know his defense isn't very good. Or Matt Rule, whoever's making that call.
My next question, I like everything you said. I just want to get your opinion on this too. What's your thoughts on this coaching staff? I know they're, we're obviously a young staff, most guys coming from the college ranks. I, for one, I like Matt Rule for the most part. I think he has been outcoached severely. It's kind of been a little concerning seeing him not what I feel like and what I perceive is what I see on the field. And I could be wrong because I'm not in the coaching staff. I don't know. But it's been concerning. I feel like he's not learning from the mistakes that he's making the past couple games. I just want to see, even if the Panthers lose, that's fine. I just want to look and see clean, concise, cohesive football where every guy has bought into that system and the coaching is stout. We've got the players, believe me. If the coaching was better, this Panthers defense, they're not giving up 28 points last week. They would make adjustments. They would say, hey, Dalvin Cook's run all over us. We probably should make some adjustments. What did they do at the second half? Nothing. Hey, offense, we're not really moving the ball that well. We should probably make some adjustments and probably figure out what the Vikings are doing and come over that. What did they do? They didn't make adjustments. I'm so sick and tired of just getting out coached all the time. And I love Matt Rule, and I think he's going to end up being a good coach. But I just want to see some competent coaching for a long period of time, a couple weeks at least. I'm very frustrated with just poor coaching because we've got the talent. There's no doubt. You look at this roster; they're young, they got holes, but these guys are talented players.
I like the overall culture that they've built with the team. I think it seems like they're moving in the right direction. Matt Rule at times has looked like he was in over his head. I like to think that there's a learning curve there, being that he's only entering his second year as an NFL head coach. I think there's other moments where he's done very smart things. I think there's other moments where he's done good things, but like you said, it's been the adjustments. And you watch this whole year, this team has gotten demolished in the third quarter, and that's when halftime adjustments are made. So if we're not making halftime adjustments to go out in the second half and start making a push towards winning the game, what are we doing? You can only take motivational speeches so far before you have to start putting something on the field.
Exactly. I mean, I feel the exact same way. Is that I feel like Matt Rule is the type of guy that can get it and figure it out, but I feel like he needs some NFL experience around him, some guys around him to help. Hey, Coach Rule, just letting you know, we need to adjust this, or this is what I'm seeing because I have experience. I see what's going on. He needs some guys around him that have a little bit more tenure and experience to say, hey, I know you're young, you're still learning, but I'm just giving you my 2 cents. This is what this team is going to do. We need to adjust that. We just have a lack of just adjusting at halftime. And it's just, you come out and you see it every second half the past couple of weeks. The Panthers come the third quarter, and it feels like it's always been this way since the beginning of freaking time, just getting blasted out of the gates on the third quarter. It's only so much I can see before I just start to really question, are these guys understand what they're doing as far as coaching and strategicness and things like that? It just is frustrating to me a little bit.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's been very frustrating. There's not really much more you need to add to it. It's just it's been very hard to watch at times. But for me, it just keeps going back to the offense for me. It just seems like the fix is so obvious. This team, you see it week in and week out. Defensive linemen will run a simple stunt and go completely unblocked through the center of offensive line and take out Sam Darnold. I've seen it at least 2 weeks in a row, probably more, but I can, specifically remember twice in the last 2 games where it's happened. And it's just like, why are we just allowing teams to exploit our biggest weakness on our team game in and game out, drive in and drive out, and it's just like, when are you going to realize you can't keep trying to do this? It's not working.
Exactly. I feel the same way. And it's just, I've seen people all week, that we've created this whole mountain of problems, when realistically in this whole mountain there's just a few little things that just need to be tweaked and fixed, and that whole thing's going to come down collapsing. The Panthers are better than what they are performing as right now. They are more talented in what they are playing at right now. Coaching is letting them down severely, and they have got to fix it, because if the Panthers came out and made adjustments and did the things they need to do, fix offensive play. We know the offensive line sucks. Hey, let's do a couple things, whatever we need to do to try to help Darnold out. We know the defense is struggling in the secondary with a couple injuries. Let's do a couple things to let's throw some blitzes in there. I don't think we saw a ton of blitzes last week. There's a lot of just, four-man rush. If they could just fix a couple things, I think we would be in good shape. I like Matt Rule. I like the players we have. We have good talent. There's no denying that. We just need to fix a couple things, and a lot of things would go right. And it's very simple. Like you said, there's just a couple small things they need to fix that would make these bigger problems just fade away and back into small problems.
I just think it just feels like to me ball control would be the biggest thing. And I feel like the defensive line are really the front seven. The whole defense has just been disappointing to me when it comes to stopping the run in the last few weeks. And I think that has a lot to do with our losses. But at the same time, when our offense is not putting drives together, they're going to go out there and they're going to get winded. It's going to be a lot easier for the other team to stay balanced when, they get more and more opportunities to go out there and run plays. So I just think that is the biggest problem we have right now. And if we would just address that, it would make a big difference. And it just seems so obvious.
I agree. I think more ball control. Don't make Darnold do too much. I mean, listen, what he did on that final drive literally made me want to cry. It was like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. If you could do this consistently, you'd be amazing, and I would love you. But it's just if we can just control the ball more and give the defense – I know the defense is better than what they're playing at right now. A lot of it, I think, has to do with coaching and the formations and the things that they're in. I think the Panthers' defensive line is good enough to be able to stop the run. The fact they've been getting ran over the past couple games is flat out inexcusable. That defensive line is better than that. The fact they're not getting after the quarterback and getting sacks, they're better than that. I know they are. We've seen it. They've got way more talent than most people. I just think it's the way things are being schemed and the way the coaching has been going on personally. But if we fix a couple things, let the defense get a breather, not put them in such bad situations, they would be a lot better off.
So I think we can agree the Panthers are in a pretty bad spot right now. They've hit the lowest low we could have possibly imagined after that 3-0 start.
Right.
Obviously, with 3 straight losses. So I think let's look at the Giants. Okay, so we could not have a better matchup. I think the Giants losing to the Giants would be rock bottom.
I agree. I thought last week the Panthers, I always said it was a toss-up game. I think it could go either way. I thought the Vikings could win, or I thought we could win. And I think we were the better team, and we just, at the end of the day, we just killed ourselves with mistakes. So we ended up losing that game. The Giants, there's no doubt in my mind that the Panthers are a better football team than the Giants. What scares me is that the Panthers love to play down to competition.
Yep.
They've lost 3 games in a row. They probably are not in the best headspace right now. I think Carolina should win this game, and we need to win this game to have any hope or semblance of saving this season. But at the same time, it would not surprise me to see the Panthers lose this game. It wouldn't.
Yep. So you're looking at this injury report. Galladay, Slayton, Toney. You're looking at the Giants potentially being without their top 3 receivers. So, assume Toney's not going to play if he's doubtful. He's probably their biggest weapon on offense right now. He's just been dealing with injuries the last couple weeks, but I think it was 2 weeks ago he had like 10 receptions, 130 yards. Like that was like his NFL coming out party. So when he's on the field, he's a serious threat, but it doesn't look like he's going to play in this game. So then we're looking at potentially Stephon Gilmore coming in this game. Well, it says out, but I think he should be back for this game as far as I understand, because he has returned to practice, and this was the game they were targeting him to come back for it, correct?
Mm-hmm. I believe so, yeah.
Okay, so hopefully we'll see him out there, but we'll see if Henderson's back. I don't know, man. I cannot see us losing this game. I've said that, the last 2 weeks, but this time, man, I really cannot see us losing this game. So I say we get back in the win column this week, and then, have the Falcons after that. So we'll see if we've got 2 easy opponents the next couple weeks. So hopefully we'll find a way to pull these wins out.
All I'm going to say is if the Panthers lose this game, it is going to be a complete meltdown on the fans' side of things. It's not going to be good. I don't care what happens. The Panthers they either need to come back and win this game and say, hey, shut your mouth, we are a better team than what we've shown, or they need to lose this game and confirm that we are not what we thought we were.
We lose this game, it's officially tanking season. It's officially
listen, I think the Panthers are after they've lost these games, the schedule for the rest of the season is absurdly hard, which I will say the Panthers seem to play in when it comes to games that teams that are a lot better than them, they seem to take it to the very end and they play up to their competition. They don't always come out with a win. It's always against the teams that are less than them that they suck. You look at this schedule real quick, at New York, at Atlanta. Those are 2 games that are winnable. Atlanta, I could see us losing that game because it's a divisional game. We always play bad in Atlanta. I don't know. New England is not that great this year. That's a winnable game. At Arizona, that's a loss. I'm sorry. Washington.
Although we did beat Arizona last year when we were worse. So
we did. So we'll see. Washington, that's a toss-up. They beat us last year. They've got a good defense. I don't know. I can see it going either way.
We beat
at
Washington
Miami.
Last year. Is that what you
what's
said?
That?
Did you say we lost to Washington last year?
Oh, I'm sorry. We beat them, but we lost when it came to draft standings because of that.
Okay. I'm with you.
At Miami, I think that's the loss just because why not? It's in Miami. I could see us just going out and playing like shit. Atlanta, we're going to lose.
That would be the us thing to do, is lose to the team that just lost to Jacksonville.
It would be. Atlanta, I could see us splitting with them. Buffalo's a loss. Tampa, one of those games we could win. One of them could be a loss. And then you got the Saints. The Saints are very up and down this year. That could also be a loss. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there's plenty of room to go. The Panthers aren't out of it by any stretch of the means, but I've said this the past 2 weeks that this is a must-win game. This absolutely, if the Panthers lose this game, the season's over. They just need to lose the rest of their games. And
if we lose this game, it's hashtag make yourself stink for Malik, or whatever the tanking hashtag is going to be.
Whoever's going number 1 this year, hashtag tank for that guy, because that is the way that we are going to be headed to.
So I was thinking about this. The team, although we didn't win every game, I'm looking at, Denver, Green Bay, Minnesota. This is last year's schedule. I should have said that. But we pulled off a couple wins, and then a lot of those games that we probably shouldn't have been real close in, we played some good games. Kansas City, that's another one.
Right.
I'm wondering, if we can turn it on here in the second half of the season, because I kind of felt like, other than that win streak we had right there, I felt like some of the best games we played were in the second half of the season, even though we may not have won them.
Yeah.
So, hopefully we can see the team kind of garner some of that energy from last year, where they kind of found themselves later on in the year. Hopefully we look back at this as one of those rough patches that, a lot of teams go through, it's especially young teams. And I think this team, I feel like they're going to turn it around. I feel like that we're just going to look back at this and say, all right, that was a rough, few weeks, but we definitely have a chance to bounce back and get some good energy going with these next couple games.
With tickets as low as $38, I'm considering flying up to New York.
I'm 30 in Atlanta. There we go.
Exactly. I mean, it's just the team is just too talented to be this bad. Listen, I get the offensive line isn't that good. I get it. And if maybe we jumped the shark a little bit saying that the Panthers were going to be a playoff team this year, a wild card team. Maybe we've got some – I just don't think we're as bad as we're playing. We can be that bad as we have been, but we are – it would feel like such a huge letdown if the Panthers just really tank this season and just fall. I would be extremely disappointed just because the amount of talent they have, they just got to get a couple small things right, and I feel like they would be on the right path, at least on a path where we can look forward to and see what we need to do. I know the offensive line sucks. I know we have injuries. I know there's questions at quarterback. I know McCaffrey's still out, but this team is too good to lose a game to the New York Giants. Not saying they will win because God knows they could go in here and lose this game. I don't know, but they are a better team than New York, and you know what? They have to win this game if they want any chance of this season becoming anything other than a giant L.
Yeah. And I just don't see them losing this game. I mean, there's just no way. I just don't see is suspect as the Panthers defense has been the last 3 games. I don't see New York being able to garner enough offense, especially if they're missing key weapons on their side of the ball. So looking at this game, I say I would like to think we both see this as a W, right? We're both going to chalk this up as a win.
Well, I'm going to hold my breath. I think we will win, but I'm going to keep my expectations here because if I start to get on that hype train again and think that we're going to win and I get up here and we lose, I'm going to blow my shit. So I've got to I'm going to stay reserved. I think the Panthers should win, but I'm just going to sit back and watch and see what happens. They've got a lot of some proving to do to make me happy again.
I'm going to go 27-17. I say we win this game.
I'll take 3-0. I don't care. We need whatever we can get. As long as we can win a game and come out and look functional, I'm all with it. That's all I need to see.
And based on the comments Matt Rule made in his post-game press conference saying that the team needs an identity on offense, I think his words were he needs to figure out what the team's identity is going to be on offense. So I like to believe he's thinking the same way I'm thinking, and he's going to recommit to trying to run the ball more. So I think if we do that, we can really have a chance to start winning some of these games because I think that would have made a huge difference in the last 2 for us.
I will say this. The one thing I do really, really like about Matt Rule, despite some things that I've seen that I have not liked, for the most part, I've been in his camp. I've been on his side. He is very, a lot of people took what he just said out of context online. Well, we're still trying to figure out I'm trying to figure out what we need to be. They're like, oh, well, what do you mean you don't know? You're the coach for da-da-da. I think you're just taking what he said a little too literal about what he needs to figure out. He's very aware of what's going on. He's not stupid. He's a very aware coach. He's not like Rivera, where if Rivera got hit by a truck, he wouldn't even know it. All right. He knows what's going on. He's aware of his surroundings. He knows what needs to be better. He may not be the best right now at coming up with plans to fix that, but he is very aware of what's going on, and that makes me feel a little better.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's, like we said, hopefully it's just there's a learning curve there, and he's trying to figure it out because he's new to the NFL too. The whole team is young. Hopefully they're all, figuring it out together, and eventually they'll get there. And, we kind of got a little too high on this team and really thought, they were going to be one of the top teams in the NFC. And, maybe it's just there's still more learning to do, and it's more of a journey. The destination isn't quite right in front of us as close as we thought it was.
It could be a reverse of the 2013 season where we started out 1-3, and then we go like 12-4, and then we start out like 3-0, lose 3 in a row, and then win like 11 in a row. That would be great.
You know what? That's probably going to happen.
That's all it is.
I
That's
like
all.
The positive energy.
That's all it is. But yeah, that's my thoughts or our thoughts on the the game upcoming this week and the game against the Vikings. Panthers, I've said this 2 weeks in a row, but it's do or die, man. We're going to see what this team is made of. Either they will fold up like a lawn chair or they will come out and win this game, and we will, feel a little bit better about ourselves, hopefully.
Yep. I'm predicting a win, Tanner.
I hope so. I'm not predicting anything. I just want to watch and see because I don't want to come on here and look like an idiot like I have the past couple weeks. But we will see.
That's the best part of the internet, man. Being able to come back and say how much of an idiot you look like.
Exactly. You know what? I've done that a lot in my lifetime, so I wouldn't be surprised. Before we get out of here today, me and you did end up joining the Roaring Riots. If something I've heard a lot about the past couple of years, I just have never really looked into it. We both ordered our memberships or whatever. We're part of what is it? The Port City Riot? Is that correct?
Yeah, Port City Riot.
Port City Riot. So, it's been tough for me to be enthusiastic the past couple of weeks about being a part of that because ever since I joined, we've lost 3 games in a row.
We brought some bad luck with us, didn't we?
I did get my package in, so I was going to do it live here on the show and show you what we got. I know you said yours came in, but you have not made it to the mailbox yet.
Yep.
So see what we've got here. So this is, let's see here. Well, I did get a keychain here. It says "Be the Roar." It's also got a bottle opener on it, which is fantastic because I had a Panthers one and I don't know what happened to it. So this is definitely going to come in handy. So Be the Uproar, Roaring Riot. I like it. They also hit me with a T-shirt here saying that I am the Uproar. Roaring Riot. I like it. It's a nice cotton shirt. Feels good. Might start wearing this on Sundays under my jersey.
Looks pretty good. I like it.
I like it. Let me see if there's anything else in here.
The matching keychain to go with it.
That's right. And the last thing they gave me is a sticker saying "Be the Uproar." So
nice.
I'm gonna find a good place to put this. Shout out to you guys, the Roaring Riot. Doesn't matter how bad the Panthers are, how much they piss us off. We do have some loyal fans. So, that's awesome. Thank you guys for sending us this stuff. And, hopefully this will turn our fortunes around.
Probably will, honestly. Especially once I put my shirt on, then it's over. It's over for the rest of the NFL.
If we wear both of them at the same time on game day, there's no way we're not going for like 1,000 points.
You know what? I can't see any flaw in that logic, so I have to get mine open too, and we'll rock them on Sunday.
Absolutely. I just want to bring up a quick point because I'm a numbers uniform type guy. I've noticed this the past 2 years since the Panthers haven't changed their jerseys, but they've give them a little bit of a modern tweak in feel.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to start a petition. The Panthers need to abolish their gray pants. They look god awful with the new look they have. I think they need to go to white pants or they just need to go all black. The gray pants no longer work with this new set of jerseys or mesh or whatever it is. I don't know your opinion on it. I just think it looks terrible.
It's definitely out of all their looks, the silver pants are definitely the worst look. That being said, when I see them wear them, it just feels like a classic throwback type of thing, especially ever since Tepper took over the team. I think he's definitely more of a fan of the black pants. So I don't know. It kind of gives me that old school feel now that I'm becoming an old head. I like the things that remind me of my younger days.
I see what you're saying. It
Reminds
does
me of
that
Steven Davis.
It does give me that old school vibe, which I'm cool with them maybe doing it as like a throwback jersey next year when they bring that back. I don't know. Just the new updated stuff they've done, it just feels kind of dated to me. I would like to see maybe try like white pants or maybe like it's not silver anymore. It's like a mesh, like gray kind of. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think it's their best look. It's not their sleekest look, not their sexiest look, but I can rock with it a few
Why aren't
Sundays
you
later.
agreeing with me, Dave? Damn it.
Huh?
So why aren't you agreeing with me?
I am agreeing with you.
I don't know. Maybe they
I don't.
shouldn't abolish it. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't think it looks as good as sleek as like everything else. But no, I don't know.
No, I do agree. I agree, but like I said, it just I don't know. It's just what I'm used to seeing. But I do think the black and the blue pants look better anyway.
I agree. What about why haven't they ever tried like white with like blue pants? You think that's too far out there?
I don't know. I think they should. I can't recall any time they did that, but I think they should.
Never. I was out of town this weekend and I went to like a sports memorabilia store and they have like all these custom Panthers helmets. They had the original silver one, which we still wear, which I mean, I like, is fine. But then they had a white, like a flat white with the logo on it, which looks sick. And then I'm sure you've seen the one we've all seen. It's the flat black with the blue on it.
Like
dude, it's sick. It is sick. So that's like, yeah, that one right there. I like that. And then the black one, the all black is, dude, they could be, oh my God, if we suck, oh well, we have the best uniforms in the league. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know if like when the NFL changes the single helmet rule or whatever, if we'll be able to, because I know it's made for like throwback uniforms or whatever, but I don't know if we'll be able to rock like a white helmet like that or like a black helmet or whatever, or if it has to be like a throwback. I'm not sure, but
So
it's not really fair to us if it has to be like a throwback because we don't have throwbacks.
Exactly. So that's why I was thinking like, next year, whenever they have that, like, what's our thing gonna be? I mean, like, because I mean, they could do like a Reebok style, like older looking jersey, I guess. But I mean, it's not like too far out from what we're wearing now.
I mean, I feel like it's pretty much the same thing. The only difference I can really find is they made the numbers smaller, which they did that like a couple years ago.
They made the numbers smaller. They made the stripes a little bit smaller, and the logo on the sides of the jerseys is a bit smaller. But that's pretty much about it. But I don't know. I'm sure they've got something up their sleeve they can do that's a throwback. I don't know.
Yeah, I ain't mad about it. I like our uniforms.
They could just remock the jersey and just put the old logo on it that we used to have. Problem solved.
If we just wore the old logo for a Sunday, that'd be pretty tight. Of course, most people can't tell the difference. I mean, especially not, only Panthers fans can really tell the difference.
You know who doesn't know the difference? When you go on to watch the game and you go like your guide on the TV, they still have the old logo. I'm like, holy shit, this was changed back in like 2012.
That's what
it's been like over almost 10 years.
Because I'll see it on TV or whatever, and I'll be like, why they got the old logo up there? And then somebody who's not a Panthers fan sitting next to me is like, what are you talking about? Like, they don't even notice the difference, which to me, they don't even look that similar.
Yeah, they don't. That's why I show that person in the front door.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, back door, because I don't want the neighbors to know that idiot was at my house.
Yes, go out the back, please. Be quiet.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I'm done rambling. Panthers, we need to win this week, man. If they want to have any chance of saving this season, they need a W this week. So we will we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Let's get this dub, baby. 4-3. Let's get it.
4-3. 7th seed in the playoffs. I'm all in.
Facts.
So
all right.
We'll see.
Well, peace out, world. Keep pounding.
We will see you guys next week. As always, thank you for watching. Primetime Carolina is out. Go Panthers.
Go Panthers.